In this video, I talk about my trip to the Isle of Skye in Scotland. I will show you the things I saw and give you my personal tips. I was there in the summer in July. The first question is, how many days do you need to see the island? My advice is to stay at least 3 days, and I'll explain why. The main reason is that the island is not easy to reach, so you have to calculate the hours of travel to get there and back from the island. If you start from Inverness or Edinburgh, it takes several hours by car, and there are no other quick ways to get there. Also, the roads on the Isle of Skye are narrow dirt roads. They must be driven at low speed. Also, some roads are single lane and have passing place, so you have to wait for the car in the opposite direction to pass in order to continue. Also consider the weather conditions, because there could be bad weather, rain or fog. On the Isle of Skye, there are also many very beautiful paths, so if you like trekking, I recommend you to stay for several days, also because each path requires several hours of walking. I have done only one path, but it is worth doing other very beautiful paths. The trail that I recommend is the Old Man of Store. The trail is not very complicated. It can be done by anyone. It has some slopes, but it is not critical. To do it, calmly consider about 3 to 4 hours at a moderate speed. Trekking shoes are sufficient. The peaks you see are characterized by an ancient Scottish legend from which they take their name. The Old Man was once a giant who lived on the Trottenish Ridge with his wife. They were deeply in love and spent their days wandering the rugged landscape. However, their peaceful existence was threatened when the giant grew old and his strength began to fade. One day, the couple encountered the fairy folk, mystical beings said to inhabit Skye. The fairies, known for their trickery, decided to cast a spell on the giant. The spell caused the giant to turn to stone, forming the towering rock pinnacle known today as the Old Man of Store. Another very beautiful path that I suggest is the one to the fairy pools, but I haven't been there and so I can't give you advice or information. The most important city on the Isle of Skye is Portree. It is very beautiful and characteristic with colourful houses. Here you can find hotels, restaurants and also other shops such as supermarkets. From the port also leave some excursions. Just outside Portree, going north, you can see some Highlands cattle. These are characteristic of Scotland. They are recognisable by their very long horns. You can observe and photograph them from outside the fence. This is one spot where they can be observed and they seem to enjoy the proximity, but you can see them on other farms in Scotland and on the island. Personally, I do not suggest feeding them. Another place not to be missed is the Melt Falls. It is a very beautiful waterfall, especially because it falls directly into the sea. It cascades dramatically from the cliffs of Kilt Rock, plunging about 55 metres. The falls are fed by the nearby Loch Melt, which gives them their name. A place not to be missed is the Naste Point Lighthouse. The road is a bit long and unpaved, so it takes a long time to get there. It is the most iconic and panoramic place on the Isle of SKYE. There is a panoramic point from which to take beautiful photographs, but with a path you can also get close to the lighthouse. If you go to Naste Point, I recommend you also see Dunvegan Castle, which is not far away. The castle was first built in the 13th century and developed over the centuries. In the 19th century, the whole castle was remodelled in a mock medieval style. The castle is built on an elevated rock overlooking an inlet on the eastern shore of Loch Dunvegan, a sea loch. Near the castle, there are also boat trips to a colony of grey seals. If you like this video, put a like or follow my channel. It's free for you, but for me is very important. Thank you.